Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Tuesday, April 29th. Good morning to you, Jaguars fans. So right now, we're taking a little bit of a closer look at Travis Hunter and what he can be for the Jaguars, kind of his scouting report, if you will, to the next level, both at wide receiver and cornerback, and what makes him so special at both positions, and then also just kind of how the Jaguars can navigate this path forward with Travis Hunter being a unicorn, like a player that's going to play both sides of the ball for them, something that just no one does, right? And then also the draft capital, the way that you can manage the roster building over the next couple years with having traded up for Travis Hunter, giving up a first-round pick and a second-round pick to do so. So we're going to get into all that. And I think the Jaguars, if y'all haven't been paying attention, I think that this was a home run for the Jacksonville Jaguars, for this organization, for James Gladstone. I think Travis Hunter is kind of the player embodiment of exactly what this organization wants to be. And what it took James Gladstone and this Jaguars organization to move up and get him is also a representation of the boldness, the creativity, the walls that they want to break down when it comes to football. James Gladstone got very deep, very philosophical talking about it, and I love it. I absolutely do. So can Travis Hunter really play both ways? Yeah, I think he absolutely can. In 13 games last year at Colorado, he played over 1,550 snaps, 1,550 snaps in 13 games. I don't think you want him playing that many snaps per season in the NFL. I think that might be a record. I'm not sure the most snaps that a player has played, but I can't imagine somebody's played that many snaps. Usually the league leaders are around 1,000, 1,100, something like that. Again, I don't think you want him playing that many snaps in the NFL. But you do want him playing on both sides. You're going to have to manage it. But I think he was legitimately the top wide receiver and top cornerback in this class. I've been saying that for months. And I think playing both positions actually helps him a lot. He understands the nuances of the cornerback position when he's playing wide receiver. He understands the nuances of the wide receiver position when he's playing cornerback. And it helps him with his anticipation. And because he's such a hard worker, a studier, I think it massively makes him play faster, right? And he's a guy that with his natural athletic gifts, maybe doesn't need to be playing that fast, but he does. And it does help him. So looking at him at wide receiver, what makes him special there? Speed, clearly. Speed is one of the most important things you can have, but you also have to know how to use that speed. Like you see a lot of guys that run in the 4.2s struggle because they don't know how to throttle, they don't know how to use their speed, they don't know how to run routes. Travis Hunter has all that stuff. Great agility, instant separation with his explosiveness, like the agility combined with the explosive movements makes it so he can lose you in a flash, both as a route runner and with the ball in his hands. He's also got bend, like the ability to kind of maneuver his body to avoid contact and keep it going at the same time, keep that speed up. He just kind of moves different than a lot of players at any position. It's really something to watch. I mean, again, you keep going back to the word special. He's also really good at finding the ball in the air, tracking it, body control, and adjusting to it, and then elite as it gets at the catch point. Maybe the best catch point player ever coming into the NFL. And I don't say that lightly. There's been some tremendous hands guys that have, the hands, the explosiveness, the body control. Travis Hunter, when it comes to contested catch situations, right? 64.7% this year, 63.6% the year before. He goes up and gets it. And he doesn't have a ton of contested catch situations because he does create so much separation. Again, if you go look at like Matt Harmon's reception perception, his route success by the different routes on the route tree, it's all in the green. It's all great. So again, the route running, the separation, the ability to go get the ball if he doesn't create separation, or if it's just a bad throw, or if it's a throw into double coverage, zone coverage, whatever it may be. He's got all that stuff. Where can he grow as a receiver? I think he can get stronger and get better with his release packages, just understanding how different elite cornerbacks will attack him at the line of scrimmage, and how to adjust to that. That would be about it, though. And I don't think by any means he's like not at a sufficient level entering the NFL in that regard. But he can grow in that. Again, I think you do want him to get a little stronger. But I also don't want him to change like his body composition. I don't want him to put on so much muscle that you kind of lose some of that flexibility, agility, any of that stuff. It's just like little bits of armor here and there, like to his frame, I think would be good, but nothing that actually changes his ability to move. So it's not like talking about adding 15 pounds to the frame. It's like maybe 5 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. Get up into the low 190s, and I think you're in a perfect sweet spot for Travis Hunter. I think he would be wide receiver 1 in most years. Would he have been last year? It's hard for me to legitimately go back and say. I mean, just based off the grade, yes, he would be wide receiver 1 for me last year. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously better size, but not nearly as explosive with or without the ball. Travis Hunter honestly has displayed more consistent hands than Marvin Harrison Jr. More consistent hands certainly than Malik Neighbors. It's an interesting debate. It's not one we really need to have, but he's certainly wide receiver 1 this year and wide receiver 1 in a lot of years. So special player on the offensive side of the ball. And then at corner, people talk about him like being a better zone cover corner, and he might be at the next level, again, maybe due to strength overall. But he's really good in both regards, both zone and man coverage. In zone, he has a great feel for spacing and leverage, which is critical, right? Knowing where your leverage is supposed to be on a given play based on the scheme, based on the play call. The anticipation to pick passes off, which I think comes from just the natural instincts combined with the work ethic, combined with the explosive ability. And then in man coverage, to me, it's all about the mirroring movements, like the foot quickness, the hip fluidity, and then the closing speed. Once the ball's in the air, he has that ability to really close on it and make a play at the catch point. But he was excellent in both zone and man coverage. They ran a good bit more zone than man, but he has plenty of man experience. So like this is a guy that I think if you want to be a incredibly multiple defense in terms of your coverages, he can be that for you. He can do that for you. Playing opposite Tyson Campbell, and we haven't even got into the Jaguars fit of all of this. We've just been talking specifically about Travis Hunter. But playing opposite Tyson Campbell, he doesn't necessarily have to lock down your opponent's wide receiver 1, depending on the matchup. But I think in a lot of situations, you will have him as your CB1 when he's on the field. Then you also have his tackling ability. And now, again, he and Tyson Campbell both really good when it comes to tackling, and so is Jordan Lewis. So less than 10% missed tackle rate for his career. At outside cornerback, that is very rare. It honestly is. And he'll take down, you see him taking down DJ Giddens, Devin Neal, all sorts of guys on tape on the outside. So you love that. He also chases plays down on the other side of the field. Usually teams try to attack the opposite side of the field that Travis Hunter's on, which obviously is a sign that teams respect the heck out of him. And when the rest of his team fails, a lot of times you see him chasing down the play on the other side of the field, which you love the effort there. I also like his effort taking on blockers. He'll get into wrestling matches, usually win them. Obviously, there's going to be receivers that are bigger than him at the next level, and there were at times in college as well. But that again just kind of comes down to the strength. And I think he could improve in his technique, taking on blocks, trying to shed blocks. Sometimes he kind of catches it and then tries to wrestle it instead of just winning with the explosiveness and agility that he has. But that's something you're going to continue to work on, the technique there. I think press tech, if you're going to use him in that regard, he can grow a little bit there. Press technique, didn't do a whole lot of it. They kind of had a soft press, and the Jaguars might not do a whole lot of it either. I think if you're running a lot of zone coverage with him and Tyson Campbell, that's going to be beautiful because they're both great at it. Tyson Campbell is a much better zone corner than he is man corner. Tyson Campbell with his eyes in the backfield is how you want to deploy him at his best. So at wide receiver and corner, just a special player. Then you have the fact that he's so smart, 4.0 GPA, clearly studies the game as well at a really high level. Very driven beyond just like the smarts and the ability to take information, process it, and learn it, and then the hard work. Like he works as hard as anybody in terms of the workouts, getting into the facility early, leaving late, trying to make sure he's understanding exactly what's going on both sides of the ball. To me, Travis Hunter is the most unique prospect we have seen in a very long time, maybe ever, honestly. I mean, certainly in the modern era of football. To me, I think you think about managing minutes kind of like the way you do in the NBA. You need to manage matchups. You need to put him in on either side of the ball, both sides of the ball, when he gives you the best advantage, when you need him the most, right? Series to series, game to game, drive to drive, all that stuff. You've got to manage it. It's not a set it and forget it. It's not Travis Hunter is playing 100% of the snaps at wide receiver and 100% of the snaps at corner. That's not how it's going to be. Again, you need to kind of manage him like an NBA star, in my opinion. From a minutes, snaps perspective, I think that's how you got to think about it a little bit more. Maybe study what some NBA teams do with their stars. What the MLB has done with Shohei at times when I know, there's been injuries there too. And look, every player is going to have injuries. I don't think you want to look at it like, oh, well, the Jaguars are overworking him. That's why he got injured if he ever gets injured, right? If they handle this properly, if they can strike that balance, I think you're getting a star on both sides of the ball. I really, really do. And that's just crazy to think about. Again, it's kind of breaking down the walls. It's kind of breaking the rules. And that's exactly what James Gladstone wants to do with this football team, with this roster, with this organization. Speaking of managing the roster, I think he did a masterful job, James Gladstone did, of, recouping value, both in this draft and in the future draft, 2026, right? He traded a second-round pick this year. He traded a first-round pick next year. The Jaguars still walked away from day 2 feeling like they had 2 potential starters in Caleb Branshaw and Wyatt Milam, which is great. They did a great job on day 3, in my opinion. I really liked all those picks. Like Jack Kaiser on day 3, hell yeah. Bashal Tutin on day 3, excellent. Rayon Lane is going to be a really fun player, underrated prospect. I think that you look at Jalen McLeod and his versatility, the effort he plays with. You look at the completeness of LaQuint Allen's game at running back. I mean, the list goes on and on. It looks really good. And obviously Jonah Monheim is a versatile player as well, who I think at worst is going to be a swing interior offensive lineman. Now, managing the roster moving forward, he was able to acquire 2 third-round picks in a trade down with the Lions, and those third-round picks are huge for 2026 because they now have, obviously, no first-round pick, but they have a second-round pick and 3 third-round picks. So you have 4 picks on day 2. The average, if you just have your normal picks, you have 3 picks on the first 2 days of the draft. 1 in round 1 and 2 on day 2, right? So they have the ability to walk away from next year's draft with a first, second, and third round pick if they want to, right? They can absolutely get that done because if you're sitting, um, if you're sitting back end of round one, you don't have a pick, you want to get in there, you can use that draft capital. You can walk away with 3 draft picks on the first 2 days of the draft next year if you want to do that. I feel very strongly about their ability to do so. And they don't have to. They also have, the ability to trade for veterans if they want to do that. Whatever they want to do, I think it's all on the table for the Jaguars, and they landed the most unique prospect that you could possibly land in the NFL draft. So Travis Hunter, Jags fans should be absolutely fired up about landing him. No question about it. If y'all enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate y'all tuning in, supporting this channel. Have a good one.